Alright, Half-Life 1. Probably one of the most influential games of all times. First game to really have a story that wasn't really simple and dumb. Lots of action, good storytelling, and fucking all-around good graphics for the time. I think almost amazing graphics at the time. Now, in VR, Dr.Beef did a really good job. The controls are pretty simple and easy to understand. If you don't like conveyor belts, if you don't like parkouring, this isn't going to be the game for you. There are literally lifts in this game that take you up and down and spin while they do it. If you're easily getting sick over like just walking, this ain't the fucking game for you. Now, in VR, I find that the game runs fine, no real problems at all. Now, Half-Life has always been kind of with the controls, and because it is like it's not like a ground-up video game. It's kind of like a mod of old shit, and Valve just made a game out of it and made Half-Life, and it's great. But when it comes to ladders and swimming in the water, it's a fucking nightmare. Granted, there's not many like water parts, maybe like 2. One of the chapters, maybe 1/3 of the chapter is like dealing with water and shit. Other than that, you're going to be fine. But I will tell you straight up, the swimming part was fucking, it made me want to throw the headset sometimes. I don't know why, it was just so fucking stupid. So moving from that, that's my only fucking like hatred of this game. That and Zen kind of sucks, but we'll do a little bit of that later. The combat is pretty solid. The soldiers are really good. If you try to like dig in and to shoot from afar, they'll throw grenades. They'll do pretty much everything you can do, and they do it pretty good with their fucking aim. Their aim with the grenades, or especially the grenade launchers, are fucking. I hate these sons of bitches, but they're pretty much the most fun in the game. You'll see a lot of infighting with the aliens and shit. The aliens all have their different flavors, but to me, the bread and butter of the game is the soldiers. Now, getting to Zen, or here now, Zen is considered like the worst part of Half-Life, and for good reason. It kind of sucks. In VR with the parkouring, it is even 10 times more fucking painful. You're going to need to learn how to crouch jump, and if you can't get that crouch jump down, you're not passing like the first stage of Zen. I died like 15 times trying to get to one platform to another, and it was a fucking just nightmare for me. Other than that, you know, the things people say about Zen, they're pretty much all true. Every complaint you hear is pretty much valid. I don't feel that that Zen itself was like rushed. I feel it's almost like the people who developed Half-Life drew out all the aliens and shit, and after they drew out the aliens, they try to come up with what would their home look like. And you know, it's, to me, none of the aliens seem like they would ever live here. It doesn't seem like anything would really live here. Nothing makes sense. You don't see any real plants. You don't see any like flora or any kind. It's just really bare, and it's a lot of platforming, which I don't know how any of these creatures would have got the platform to do anything. There is like some effort into it, but to me it always felt like, you know, not so much the bare minimum, it's just no one had an idea of what they were doing. Perhaps maybe it was rushed, maybe they wanted to do more, but I mean, to me, Zen just seems like so dead, and like it just feels like it's unlived in. Other than that, Half-Life 1 is still an amazing game. It has a pretty decent ending, surprise twist and shit like that. Don't want to spoil too much if you never fucking played it before, but I recommend it. They're gonna, you know, the parkour can be a little bit rough with the motion sickness. Again, you're just gonna have to either fight through it, or you'll probably just quit with the toxic waste zone. Because if you can't pass that little like conveyor belt level with all the toxic waste and shit, then Zen's gonna be Zen would be 10 times worse. Even though Zen, you know, I don't know, it's just Zen is just so fucking weird. It's like they tried, but they just, I don't know, the direction was really bad. Other than that, you know, Half-Life 1 is still one of the most amazing games of all time. You know, except for like 2 or 3 levels. But I really, you know, I'll tell you to give it a shot. I mean, Half-Life 1, if you're a fan of Half-Life 2 and Half-Life Alyx story, in my opinion, is a little fucked. Valve kind of fucked up the whole storyline. But you know, you want to see where Gordon Freeman started and all that shit, this is the game. I still recommend it. I went through it twice, and those early like Office Space maps and stuff like that had a lot of fun. Fighting the soldiers, again, Zen's probably one of the weakest levels. You know, it's always just been a weak level. I just want to shit on Zen all fucking night, but I can't. Other than that, I still recommend it. It's still better than 99% of the games that come out fucking today, sadly. And in VR, it works pretty good, except for the ladders, which sucked back then, and the water, which I think is just part of the implement with VR, and I don't think there's any, to me, I don't see how you could get around it. That being said, there's tons of guns, tons of different aliens that do all kinds of weird different shit. And well, that's pretty much it. Not going to spoil the end for you. I really recommend it. Hell, I even recommend it in flat screen mode. If you suck at VR and you can play this in flat screen mode, play it in fucking flat screen. It's pretty much the granddaddy of all modern games. All right, we'll give it a shot. All right, bye.